Hi guys, it's Sierra. Welcome back to my channel. So guys, today is going to be a video about the pros and cons of hair and makeup artists. And the reason why I'm kind of going to be doing this video just to not so much for informing anyone in particular, but just the general idea of how this kind of thing kind of goes. And for me, especially because it's one of my things that I love to do the most out of my whole career as far as like what I've been doing as far as hair goes. And it's just things that, for one, I'm passionate about when it comes to being professional, being informative, being prompt, etc. And I think the most important thing when it comes to fashion shows, whether you're doing it for trade or paid, is literally the communication. And what I mean by communication, for instance, if you are, let's just say you're someone new that's trying to, get more experience and or exposure into whatever field that you're in for a fashion show. And you're reaching out to people, you're calling, you're emailing, whatever you're doing to get in contact with these people. And they let you know the time, date, good, that's good. And then you come across of like trying to figure how many models there are, and what time is call time, things in that nature. And when I feel like when lack of communication is not being communicated as to, a head count on the models, call time, if you're going to have a travel kit fee, or if you're going to be getting paid for your work. And, it's very important, especially for someone like myself who's been doing it for quite some time now. And, I'm not saying I would never do trade work, but I do feel like where I am in my career, there will be some kind of fee that's going to accommodate, my gas expenses and the products that I'm using, because, products aren't free. And depending on what products you're using, they're not cheap. And so I honestly feel as a hairstylist, I do makeup, but I don't prefer to do makeup for fashion shows. I like to stick with the hair. But me speaking generally for the hair is that there's a lot, that comes with that job title, as far as depending on what kind of look the designer's trying to go for or what have you. But I really do feel like for upcoming designers or designers that are still getting used to how all this stuff goes, or even if you do and you're just not considerate of the people that are like trying to work for you, because people don't reach out to you because they know. I mean, some people reach out to the designer because they know of you, but they love your work, and I think that's the misconception when it comes to when you're choosing people to work with you. You should be a little bit more considerate of that person's time, and the fact that we are all trying to get paid the same way that you are with your clothing line. And I'm not bashing anyone, I'm not calling anybody out of this matter. It's just really something that I really don't really hear a lot of. And maybe there is, I'm sure there's videos of the same kind of thing, but I don't really feel like in my personal experience, I haven't really seen anybody talking too much about the matters and like what goes on behind the scenes. And for people who are wanting to go into the fashion show industry as far as hair and makeup, I will tell you guys, it is not a walk in the park, especially when the general things aren't being communicated properly as far as call time, head counts, how. And I feel like this is the most important thing, because it's like pretty much every fashion show has about ranges between 15 to about 35, 40 models. And I feel like it is very important to know and mentally prepare yourself for when it comes to working with a designer, as how many stylists are going to be working the show, because that'll let you know one or two things: how much product you need to use or bring, how many hair accessories, whether that's bobby pin, hair scrunchies, rubber bands, what have you, that you need to have in your kit. And same thing goes for makeup. Like, you need to know. I feel like me as a makeup artist, I would prefer to know these things, because it's like, okay, well, just think about it. On a range of a month, how many times do you feel like you do your makeup a day, or a week, or what have you? And everybody knows who does their makeup and or hair that after about the first month of you getting something new, you're going to have to replenish that. So just imagine you having to do 30 models to 45 models in total. That first day of you doing that, you have to definitely re-up the next show. So I really feel like, it's just really important to me to know what it is I'm dealing with ahead of time, because I'm one of those hairstylists that likes to, prep before the show, have all of my, questions answered, as far as like how many models are going to be there, how many stylists are going to be there. So that way I have in my head mentally, okay, well, if there's 4 of us and there's 40 models, I'll be having 10 models each. So that way I can break that down versus having to do 45 girls. And so that is just really the biggest pet peeve of mine, is not having the communication, because it's just not easy, dealing with fashion shows in general, because let's just say that you do end up getting all the information I just talked about, but you get there and some people don't show up. Some people, show up an hour or two late. And so you're basically having to pick up that slack and work your ass off, excuse my language, but work your butt off and, make this thing work, and that's not an easy task to do when you are getting, shot left to right as to like, things that aren't properly going the right way. And for those fashion designers out there who aren't being considerate of the people who are making your line, efficient, as far as when they walk on that runway, that they're looking good from head to toe, that if you're not giving some kind of credit where it's due, especially like if you're not paying these people, like the least you can do is tag people for their work. Like that's just not something, and that's just something I don't understand. That's literally the least you can do. And for some people out there, like who are just kind of getting out of school or whatever, that might be perfectly fine for them. That just doing it is good enough for them. But people who have been doing it for a while now, and like I said, I'm not ever saying that I would never do trade work. I really feel like I'm very specific when it comes to trade work. But when I know that my work is definitely profitable, it definitely is a problem, especially if you cannot provide some kind of fee as far as my kit for my products and gas for my car. So, and for people out there that are wanting to pursue fashion shows for hair and makeup, I definitely, like I said, I do love the job. I love what I do, but it gets really, really, really tricky when it comes to you dealing with certain people, especially like when you don't know if they know exactly how things are supposed to necessarily go. And I'm not saying every fashion show should go the same way, but I do feel like communication, a very verbal or some kind of verbal or agreement as to what it is they're going to be offering you, whether it's trade for pictures, obviously, and, you getting tagged for your work and publications, because, it's just like, I just don't understand why people don't understand that if I'm going to do something for someone and, put in, and let's just say 4 or 5 hours, that's 4 or 5 hours out of my own job that I could be, at work making money, versus being here doing work, not get credit for it, and then not get paid for it. Like, no. No. So, with that being said, guys, oh, I bet y'all like, she is really like on a ram right now. But I am, because I've been doing it for way too long, and it's really upsetting to me when it's like designers that I want to work for and just give my time to, and it's like you're asking for a lot, like, asking them the basic information to do your job. Like, I just will never understand or can wrap my mind around that. And only one or two things could be going on in that situation. And it's one, because they don't know what they're doing, or two, they're trying to be shady and use you for your work and not pay you for it. And it's just like, I don't know why designers think that, like, okay, like, if they're doing trade, or if anybody that's coming in on the show doing trade, whether it's your models, your hairstylists, makeup artists, whoever, it's just like they turn around and act surprised when people don't show up, or if they're late. It's just like, what are you doing to get them to want to be there and securely be there to work for you? Like, you're not offering anything, It's just like, I'm just not understanding the concept of it all. And I don't know, like, maybe it's because everybody's professionalism is a little different, so people handle things differently. But I really feel for, people who really dedicate their time and not really get the credit that they deserve, and have worked for and have paid thousands of dollars to go to school to learn, and not get some kind of payback for that. And so I just really want, anybody out there who is wanting to pursue as a hair and makeup artist for fashion shows, is, for one, definitely have some kind of written contract, whether it's for paid or trade work, as to what it is your circumstances are. And make sure that before any kind of discussion about you showing up anywhere, that contract is read and is either signed, or something that has in writing that they agree with your terms. Because I feel like people will try to take advantage, of course. And not only that, like, you just want to keep yourself in the safe zone. And, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, please comment below if you, at any time in your career, or have experienced anything like this, and what do you feel like the problem is, not particular, I guess, in your situation, or just what you see in general. Because I really feel like this is something I want to definitely just make people more aware of things. Because, fashion shows, when you go to fashion shows, they're really nice and glamorous looking, when everything is all said and done. But people don't see what the work that people put in 5 to 7 hours prior to the fashion show. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to be able to be very transparent with, and be able to be like, okay, like, this is what goes on here. And like I said, this is not always the situation at everybody's fashion show. And I'm not even speaking on anyone in particular in this video as well. It's just a general thing that I've been thinking about and have personally had to deal with from time to time. But I definitely feel like, definitely have your contract set, and, just so people just know and to take you serious. Because I really feel like people don't really know, and especially like if you don't know the person that you're working for, if they don't know you, more than 99% of the time are not going to take you serious unless, you know, you're walking in there with a celebrity and, like, you know, the person's talking highly of you or something like that. But, you know, I just really feel like it's just really something that's been on my mind a lot. And, you know, for people who, especially like for the models, guys, like, something that I have learned with you models is that, like, the same thing goes for you guys too. I'm talking about hair and makeup artists, but you guys are just as important, because without you guys, the designer will not be able to showcase their work. So if you're not staying firm on your rates and what you feel like you deserve as far as like your profession, that's also something that you should look at and definitely have some kind of contract, even if it's just, you know, for trade work, to have your name tagged in the pictures that you're in, because, you know, that's the whole reason why all of us are doing something, is for exposure. And if you can't even do the bare minimum as in tagging people, like, it only takes the same way it takes for you to reach out to every model, every hairstylist, every makeup artist, anybody within your team. It's the same way you can sit up there, get their contact information, get their Instagram information, and be able to tag people for what it is that they're doing, because you don't know where anybody is at in their career. And, you know, that alone by itself will take everybody just a couple notches. So that's all on my rant today, guys. Like I said, if you guys have, you know, any questions, any concerns, any kind of information you would like to pass down to me, whether it's something that you've been through or, you know, just some guidance, I don't feel like I know everything. Trust me, I don't. But definitely feel free to comment below. Tell me what it is that you feel, you know, are your pros and cons. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.